Hey guys, Kevin here from thesportsgeek.com, and in this video I'm going to talk about how you can project DFS ownership percentages. Okay, so why does ownership matter? I have a full video on this on my YouTube channel. You can check it out if you haven't already. But to give you a quick example, let's say you have a quarterback and wide receiver stack, and both players are 1% owned, but they both have the top score by 10 points over the next closest player at each position. You're gaining a huge advantage over the 99% of people who didn't take those players. So there's basically 5 different steps you can take to project ownership. Number 1 is previous ownership percentages for that player. Number 2, did that player's price increase or decrease? Number 3, the matchup for the week for that player. 4 is recent performance. And 5 is FanDuel Thursday contest. So instead of just explaining each step, we're going to run through an example together. This can all be done in one step basically, but we're going to break it down step by step. So for this example, we're going to project Tom Brady's ownership for an upcoming week, and Brady is priced at 8,700. So the first thing you can look at is previous week's ownership. So you want to monitor players' ownership each week. For this example, let's say Tom Brady has been 25, 20, and 23% owned the last 3 weeks. We're guessing that he should be right around that range this week. So at this point, I'm projecting 23% ownership. So right in between basically the last 3 weeks percentages. Next thing you want to do is check his price. So this week he's priced at $8,700. The last few weeks he averaged $8,200. So he went up in price $500. But you also have to compare that price in comparison to other quarterbacks as well. So if all quarterbacks rose, then it's not a big deal. But if the other quarterbacks went down and Brady went up $500, that's a pretty big deal. And that's going to come into play with the ownership percentages as well. So at this point he rose. So I'm decreasing my projection down to 19% for Brady. Then we're going to look into the players' matchup. So let's say that the Patriots are facing the number 4 ranked passing defense and they're playing on the road. This is going to give me another decrease to my projection because of a bad matchup. So I'll send them down to 12% projection. Number 4 is the recent performance, also called recency bias. So in our example, let's say that Brady just played the Monday Nighter and he threw 6 touchdowns and 500 yards, just had a crazy game. Lots of people watch these primetime games. Everyone's going to remember that awesome performance. Everyone who missed out on him last week, a lot of those people are going to want to roster him this week. So for that reason, we're going to increase his projection, so back up to 20%. So the same thing goes with a bad game. If Brady had a bad game on Monday night, threw for 150 yards with 3 interceptions, his projection would probably go down a little bit. And then the last thing you can look at is FanDuel ownership. So when the Thursday contests start at FanDuel, you'll be able to view the ownerships. And we use FanDuel because of lineup lock. At DraftKings, you can change your lineups right up until the game, while at FanDuel, the lineups lock at the first game of the contest. So on Thursday night, you'll be able to see all the players' ownership percentages as long as you have them in a lineup. There's websites out there that post the ownership percentages from FanDuel Thursday contest, and I think I'm going to start doing this. If you guys want me to start posting them, leave me a comment in the YouTube comment section, and I'll start doing that at my site if there's enough interest. So to continue our example, let's say that Friday morning you check and see Brady was 29% owned on the FanDuel Thursday contest. Then you want to compare the pricing between FanDuel and DraftKings. If the players are pretty similar on both sites, you can get a good projection. If one player is really cheap on FanDuel and really expensive on DraftKings, you can't really use this. But for our example, we'll say that it's pretty similar, but slightly cheaper at FanDuel. So we're going to give Brady a slight bump in projection. Since he was 29% owned on FanDuel, we're going to bump him up to 23 on DraftKings. And that would be it for the ownership projection for Brady for this week. So I went through the 5 different steps and we ended up with 23% projection. Projecting ownership is something that should be in the back of your mind, especially for the big GPP contest, but you don't need to spend too much time on this. Most of the time I'm just running these numbers in my head while I'm picking my players for the week. And you got to remember that points are more important than everything else. You don't want a team with a lot of low-owned players that don't score a lot of points, but if you can get a couple low-owned players that have huge games, you're getting a big advantage over other people. So that's my video on projecting ownership. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by clicking the thumbs up button on YouTube so I know to keep making videos like this. And if you guys don't already have access to my free lineup generator tool, click on the link in the YouTube description below and get that absolutely free. All right, hope this helped and good luck in your contest, guys. Cheers.